Ancient Egypt has fascinated people all over the world for hundreds of years. This powerful civilization was filled with incredible culture, art, customs, and inventions that may never see again. So, in today's video, let's explore the top 15 most unusual discoveries ever found in Egypt. Let's start with something that challenges conventional archaeology. In 1898, during excavations at Saqqara, the vast ancient burial ground in Egypt, archaeologists uncovered what they initially dismissed as a simple bird figurine. But this wasn't just any bird carving. The Saqqara bird, dating back to around 200 BCE, has a wingspan of about 18 centimeters and resembles a falcon. But here's where things get strange. It has no feet. Now you might think missing feet on a carving isn't that unusual, but when aerodynamics experts examined this artifact, they noticed something remarkable. The proportions, wing design, and body shape, everything about this wooden bird seemed to follow principles comparable to those of modern aircraft design. Some researchers have even built replicas and found that, with minor modifications, it can actually glide through the air. Hidden in a cave at Wadi El Jarf, a harbor site on the Red Sea, French Egyptologist Pierre Tallet and his team uncovered about 30 fragments of 4,500-year-old papyri, the oldest known in Egypt. These documents, known as the Diary of Mirror, record the daily work log of an official named Mirror, who oversaw teams transporting limestone blocks from the Tura quarries to Giza by boat. According to the diary, blocks weighing about 2 to 3 tons could be moved to the construction site within a few days. Considering that the Great Pyramid contains over 2.3 million limestone blocks, this represents a staggering logistical effort. However, the diary focuses only on transportation and supplies. It does not explain how the massive blocks were cut and shaped with such precision, joints so fine that in many places a sheet of paper cannot be inserted between them. In 1871, local Egyptians stumbled upon a hidden tomb in the cliffs of Deir el-Bahari, part of the Theban necropolis, now catalogued as TT 320. This so-called royal cache held an astonishing find: the reburied mummies of over 50 individuals, including some of Egypt's greatest pharaohs, among them Seqenenre Tawa, Ahmose I, Thutmose III, Seti I, and Rameses II, alongside queens and high priests. The bodies had been removed from their own tombs, stripped of many treasures, and hastily rewrapped before being placed together in this secret shaft during the 21st dynasty. The motive, according to Egyptologists, was practical. Priests of Amun sought to protect the royal dead from rampant tomb robbers. Yet the evidence is unsettling. Many mummies had been repeatedly unwrapped and inspected, and their reburial lacked the care of traditional rites. The cache also contained only limited burial goods, while valuables remained missing from the original tombs. In 2016, Czech archaeologists from Charles University made an unexpected discovery at Abu Sir, a major necropolis near Cairo. Beside a large mud brick mastaba tomb, they uncovered a wooden funerary boat nearly 18 meters long, dating back more than 4,500 years to Egypt's 5th dynasty. Remarkably, much of the ancient wood was still preserved. The find was surprising, not because of the boat itself. Funerary boats were well known in royal contexts, but because it was buried with a high-ranking official rather than a pharaoh. Such vessels, thought to aid the deceased's journey in the afterlife, were costly and symbolically powerful, typically associated with kingship. This raises important questions. Why would an elite official, not of royal blood, be afforded such an extraordinary funerary provision? The location is far from the Nile's edge, and the boat shows no signs of use on water, suggesting it was built solely for ritual burial. The Abu Sir discovery reshaped scholars' understanding of Egyptian funerary practices, demonstrating that elite non-royals could access traditions once thought exclusive to kings, and offering a rare glimpse into the complex interplay of status, ritual, and symbolism in the Old Kingdom. Enjoyed the video? Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming journeys. Tap the like button to let us know this content is making a difference. And if you're watching on your phone, be sure to press the hype button right below. Every hype helps this video get published to more people, and it truly supports me in earning extra income. I promise to keep bringing you even more great content. In 2020, archaeologists uncovered 83 graves in Egypt, containing remains wrapped or placed in clay coffins, a rare and striking find. These burials date to the Naqada III period, the late Predynastic, proto-dynastic era, before the rise of the unified pharaonic state. The presence of clay coffins is unusual for this time. Most high-status burials from Naqada III used wooden coffins, mud brick tombs, or simple pit burials. Many of these newly found graves are shallow, and the clay containers in some cases appear rudimentary. The bodies in these graves do not always follow typical orientation norms. Some face east, but others face irregular directions, with no consistent pattern. One intriguing detail: the clay used for some coffins is not local to the immediate site, but seems to have been transported from farther away, indicating planning and labor beyond a simple local burial project. Some Egyptologists suggest these burials may represent a mass interment due to an epidemic or crisis, which might explain the use of clay and shallow graves. However, the remains show no obvious trauma or clear signs of infectious disease, and some graves contain burial goods, indicating these were not entirely emergency burials. Another theory is that this represents a ritual or cultural practice that did not persist, perhaps a funerary tradition of a particular local group or sect, later suppressed or replaced by more orthodox practices. The unusual clay coffins and non-standard orientations imply these were not random burials, but rather intended with symbolic or ritual intent. Graffiti isn't just a modern phenomenon. Ancient Egyptian workers also left their marks. During the construction of the pyramids, laborers were organized into gangs with distinctive names, and these groups often recorded their presence on the blocks they placed. In 1837, British explorer Howard Vyse discovered red-painted inscriptions in the hidden relieving chambers above the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Among them was the phrase, "the Friends of Khufu," directly linking the pyramid to Pharaoh Khufu of the 4th dynasty. These informal markings, written in hieratic-style hieroglyphs, are considered authentic work gang graffiti, not ceremonial inscriptions. Far from being decorative, these tags provide crucial evidence that the Great Pyramid was built during Khufu's reign, around 2600 BCE. They confirm that large teams of workers took pride in their assignments and left behind casual records of their labor, giving modern researchers a rare glimpse into the organization of pyramid building. Do you think the workers intended for their graffiti to be seen thousands of years later? Let us know in the comments below. And now uncover underground chambers hiding impossible technologies. The ancient Egyptians knew their tombs would tempt thieves, so they devised ingenious security measures to deter intruders. Builders often incorporated false passages, hidden chambers, and blocked corridors meant to confuse robbers and delay looting attempts. The Great Pyramid of Giza contains the most famous example, a system of massive granite portcullis blocks, each weighing several tons, that were lowered into grooves to seal the passage leading to the king's chamber. Once in place, these blocks made further access nearly impossible without breaking through solid stone. The precision with which these grooves were cut and the blocks fitted demonstrates remarkable craftsmanship and planning. Although these systems reveal a highly practical understanding of weight, leverage, and construction, they were not booby traps with collapsing floors or spears. Instead, they relied on passive defense, barriers that made intrusion extremely difficult. Despite these precautions, almost all royal tombs, including the Great Pyramid, were eventually looted. When modern explorers entered the king's chamber, it contained only a lidless granite sarcophagus, with no pharaoh's body or treasure. This has led some scholars to suggest that the looting occurred very early, possibly by workers with inside knowledge, while others argue that the pyramid may never have been used as a traditional tomb at all. Beneath the sands of Saqqara lies the Serapeum, one of Egypt's most impressive subterranean monuments. Rediscovered in 1851 by French archaeologist Auguste Mariette, it consists of long rock-cut tunnels with side chambers containing 24 colossal granite sarcophagi, each weighing between 70 and 100 tons. These giant stone boxes were built for the burial of sacred Apis bulls, animals revered in the Memphite religion as earthly manifestations of the god Ptah. Inscriptions and stelae from the site confirm its role in the Apis cult, and remains of bulls have been found, although many chambers were plundered in antiquity and stood empty when rediscovered. The workmanship of the sarcophagi is extraordinary. Hewn from hard granite and basalt, their flat surfaces and heavy lids fit with remarkable precision. While sometimes described as impossible for the tools of the time, Egyptologists explain the work as the result of dolerite pounders, copper tools, and abrasive sand-cutting techniques mastered by Old and New Kingdom stoneworkers alike. Moving these massive sarcophagi into the narrow galleries was a formidable achievement, reflecting both the Egyptians' practical engineering skills and the religious importance of the Apis cult. Though sometimes presented as evidence of a lost civilization with advanced technology, the Serapeum is best understood as a unique and extraordinary expression of Egyptian religious devotion and craftsmanship. While cat mummies are widely known from ancient Egypt, archaeologists have also uncovered extraordinary caches of mummified crocodiles, revealing the deep religious importance of these dangerous animals. Large groups of crocodile mummies, some over 4 meters long, along with hatchlings and eggs, have been found at sites such as Kamambo, Thebes, and more recently, at Kubat al-Hawa near Aswan. These crocodiles were not pets, but offerings dedicated to Sobek, the crocodile-headed god of fertility, and the Nile. Ancient embalmers perfected techniques to preserve even the animal's thick, armored hides. Some were carefully wrapped in linen, while others were naturally desiccated and then buried in rock-cut tombs or catacombs. Intriguingly, several adult crocodiles were discovered with baby crocodiles placed alongside or even inside them, emphasizing fertility symbolism. This suggests not domestication, but a ritual focus on reproduction and divine power. Genetic studies have shown that both the Nile crocodile and the West African crocodile were mummified, reflecting the range of crocodile species that lived along the Nile in antiquity. The crocodile mummies highlight the extraordinary lengths Egyptians went to in honoring their gods, transforming one of the most fearsome animals of Africa into a sacred vessel for devotion. In 1995, archaeologist Kent Weeks and the Theban Mapping Project made a groundbreaking discovery in Egypt's Valley of the Kings. What was thought to be a minor tomb proved to be the largest ever found in the valley. KV5, a sprawling underground complex with over 120 documented chambers and corridors. The tomb is identified as the burial place of the sons of Ramesses II, Egypt's longest reigning pharaoh of the 19th dynasty. With Ramesses II known to have fathered many children, KV5 appears to have been designed as a collective burial site for several princes. Excavations have revealed fragments of canopic jars, Shabti figures, and inscriptions naming some of Ramesses II's sons, confirming the association. The tomb's vast size and unusual layout set it apart from more linear royal tombs. Its chambers extend in multiple directions, a design likely expanded in stages to accommodate additional burials. Decoration and burial equipment are scarce today, much of it destroyed by ancient looting and repeated flash floods that swept through the Valley of the Kings over the centuries. Despite the damage, KV5 remains one of the most important archaeological discoveries in Egypt, offering unparalleled insight into the scale of Ramesses II's dynasty and the complexities of royal family burials in the New Kingdom. Does it surprise you that the largest tomb in the Valley of the Kings was not for a single pharaoh, but for the many sons of Ramesses II? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and follow the channel to discover more interesting things. The Great Sphinx of Giza has long inspired speculation about hidden chambers and mysteries beneath its massive form. Seismic and radar surveys carried out in the 1990s identified several possible cavities beneath and around the monument, but no large network of tunnels has ever been confirmed. One persistent legend speaks of a hall of records beneath the Sphinx's paw, supposedly containing ancient texts or artifacts from a lost civilization. While intriguing, no archaeological excavation has revealed such a chamber, and mainstream scholars regard this as a product of modern esoteric tradition rather than evidence. There are small openings and shafts on the Sphinx's head and back, but these do not lead to hidden rooms. Instead, they appear to be ancient or modern access points related to restoration. The site often confused with a tunnel beneath the Sphinx is the so-called Osiris Shaft, discovered west of Khafre's Causeway and excavated in the 1990s by Zahi Hawass. This consists of a deep shaft with multiple levels and an empty stone sarcophagus. Although symbolically associated with Osiris, the god of the underworld, it contained no burial and is not directly connected to the Sphinx or Great Pyramid. Depictions of Osiris with green skin, often cited as unusual, are in fact well attested in Egyptian art, symbolizing rebirth and fertility. While some continue to speculate about hidden archives or advanced technology beneath the Sphinx, the evidence to date shows only natural fissures, minor shafts, and unfinished ancient works, not a suppressed chamber of lost knowledge. Number 12. The Cache of 30 Mummies. October 2019, archaeologists uncovered a spectacular cache of 30 painted wooden coffins in the Al-Asasif necropolis near Luxor. The find, dating back about 3,000 years to Egypt's 22nd dynasty, was hailed by officials as one of the most important discoveries in decades. The coffins, stacked in 2 layers within a shallow shaft, were sealed and remarkably well preserved, with vivid decorations and inscriptions intact. Inside were the mummified remains of 23 adult males, 5 adult females, and 2 children, most identified as priests and priestesses of the god Amun, along with their family members. Unlike many tombs looted in antiquity, this cache was undisturbed. The coffins retained their original paint, and the mummies had not been unwrapped since burial, offering Egyptologists a rare opportunity to study intact funerary practices from the 3rd Intermediate period. After their discovery, the coffins were transferred to the Grand Egyptian Museum in Giza for conservation and display. The Asasif cache not only demonstrates the wealth and religious importance of Karnak's priesthood during this era, but also highlights how much remains hidden beneath the sands of Luxor's vast necropolis. Between 1896 and 1907, British archaeologists Bernard Grenfell and Arthur Hunt excavated the ancient Egyptian town of Oxyrhynchus and uncovered one of the most important manuscript discoveries in history. Preserved in the region's dry sand, they recovered an estimated 500,000 papyrus fragments, spanning nearly 1,000 years, from the 1st century BCE to the 7th century CE. The papyri cover every aspect of ancient life. They include tax records, census lists, private letters, and administrative documents, alongside literary treasures, fragments of long-lost plays by Sophocles, Euripides, and Menander, poetry by Sappho, and even early Christian Gospels. Among the most striking finds are magical texts, love spells, curses, and even a contract to fix a wrestling match, showing that sports corruption is nothing new. There are also astronomical tables, mathematical calculations, and medical writings, providing insights into Greco-Roman science and daily practice. Though sometimes sensationalized as containing evidence of advanced lost sciences or unknown maps, the Oxyrhynchus papyri instead reveal the breadth of everyday and scholarly life in the Hellenistic and Roman worlds. They remain one of the richest sources for understanding the ancient Mediterranean, and thousands of fragments are still being studied and published today. Does it surprise you that the Oxyrhynchus papyri reveal not just great literature, but also everyday details like taxes, love spells, and even sports corruption? Let us know in the comments below. In 1996, archaeologist Zahi Hawass uncovered one of Egypt's largest burial sites at the Bahariya Oasis in Egypt's western desert. Now known as the Valley of the Golden Mummies, the cemetery has so far yielded more than 250 mummies, but surveys suggest that thousands more may remain buried. The site dates to the Greco-Roman period. The mummies display 4 distinct styles of preservation: gilded masks, painted cartonnage, linen-wrapped shrouds, and simpler burials. The most elaborate examples feature gilded faces and painted scenes of Egyptian deities, demonstrating both wealth and strong ties to traditional religious beliefs. Far from royal tombs, these burials belong to the prosperous inhabitants of Bahariya, which in antiquity was a fertile agricultural region and an important stop on desert trade routes. Imported jewelry, coins, and other goods found with the mummies reflect influences from Greek and Roman culture, showing how connected even a remote oasis could be to the wider Mediterranean world. The Valley of the Golden Mummies remains only partially excavated, but it offers a vivid picture of life and death in Egypt's desert provinces during the Greco-Roman era, a community both deeply Egyptian and cosmopolitan in its connections. The official chronology of Egypt's great monuments places the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid of Giza in the 4th dynasty, about 4,500 years ago. The Sphinx is generally attributed to Pharaoh Khafre, and the Great Pyramid to Khufu. A controversial alternative theory argues that the Sphinx shows signs of water erosion that could have come from periods of heavy rainfall thousands of years earlier. Geologist Robert Schoch suggested in the 1990s that this weathering might date the Sphinx to at least several millennia earlier than Khafre's reign, though most Egyptologists maintain it is the product of wind and sand erosion. The Great Pyramid also fuels debate. Its internal design includes long shafts cut through limestone with extraordinary precision, and the placement of massive granite beams in the king's chamber shows remarkable engineering skill. Mainstream archaeology attributes this to advanced but practical techniques available to the ancient Egyptians. Unlike later royal tombs, the Great Pyramid's inner chambers are largely undecorated. However, quarry marks discovered in hidden chambers identify the work crews and reference Khufu, strongly supporting the attribution. Some fringe researchers suggest the monuments predate dynastic Egypt, possibly inherited from an earlier lost civilization. Others argue that features like the Sphinx's relatively small head indicate later recarving. These claims remain speculative and are not accepted by most scholars. These 15 discoveries represent just a fraction of the mysteries that continue to emerge from Egypt's ancient sands. What do you think about these mysterious discoveries? Which one surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to explore more ancient mysteries that challenge everything we thought we knew about human history, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And don't just stop at the like button, hit that hype when you watch on your phone too. It only takes a few seconds, but it helps this video reach way more people. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.